Artem, we're back in the world of bare knuckle again. It's a little bit of a difference this time. I mean, I see images of sandbags, guys in jeans. Tell me about it. What's different about this time and your return to bare knuckle?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they try to, change a little bit the look just to give people something different, something new. Because especially when you're scrolling, let's say, through millions of different videos, when someone sees sandbags and, that sort of things, that is something that will make you stop and look twice. So this was the idea behind it. But, for me, I see it from the perspective of a competitor. It is something I can use to my advantage. You can lean people over the bags a little bit. So that presents a whole different challenge in itself. It looks cool. It's in terms of the uniform. Some of the guys fight in jeans. However, my fight, is a higher level. This is professional bare knuckle fighting, so we will be, in the usual boxing outfits.
I have to say, man, I can't imagine what it's like to fight in that sort of setting. But do you sort of imagine that once you get in there and you see the setting and it's kind of visceral, is it gonna be the animal instinct? Is it basically just gonna be as gnarly a scrap as you can imagine?
Yeah, that's certainly something that I'm hoping for. Mahach means a crazy street fight in translation from Russian. So I want to live up to that name. This is the reason they recruited me and not somebody else. So I wanna cover those sandbags in blood.
But you say it's a crazy street fight, but the guy you're fighting, he's actually a professional boxer. Denys, I can't, I'm not even going to butcher his last name, but he's a silver medalist, right? He's an Olympian.
Yes. Yes, he's an Olympic silver medalist. He is 15-0 WBO champion, undefeated, very high level guy. Like if he was a boxer in any other country, he'd be a massive star. But because he's from Ukraine and he trains with the guys like Lomachenko and Usyk, people don't really know about him as much. But he is up there. Was part of that team. Usyk was the captain of his team when he got the silver medal. So no, this guy knows what's up. He's been around the block many times. Very experienced boxer and a very high level fight. So to me, it's a very interesting fight for a number of reasons. Of course, financially, it's a very lucrative offer for me, but also in terms of who I'm fighting. I've always tried to make a transition into boxing, and this is going to be a second extremely high level world class boxer on my resume. After this, I mean, I don't know how they're going to be able to deny me an opportunity for a massive boxing seven-figure payday.
I was going to say, is this like the new Artem Lobov story where he finds these world champions in boxing, brings them over to bare knuckle, and shows them how it's done without the gloves? It's sort of like a trend you're setting here.
Exactly, and they're trying to tell me that with pillows on my hands, I have to be worried about these guys. Hold on a second, guys. So I'm fighting them bare knuckle, basically nearly at their own game, and doing fine. But with the pillows on my hands, I should be afraid. Come on now.
How is it just the general? I know bare knuckles it's a rough game, right? But how is it knowing that finally you get to compete? It's been a long time since you were able to. Obviously, COVID. I know you had the MMA fight get scrapped and stuff. What is it like just a few days out? Like how excited are you to get back in there and actually fight as an athlete?
It's more of a thank fuck it's actually happening feeling, because like you said, my last fight was canceled. That was devastating. You know what I mean? 3 days before the fight, and it was not a good thing for mental strength because you're so ready for the fight. You've gone through the camp. I had a very severe, meniscus injury in the camp. My knee kept fucking locking all the time. Couldn't grapple, couldn't wrestle. Got through all of that, spent extra money on the camp, and then to not get the final result and not to get the payday, that was really difficult. This time around, I was worried again because Berinchyk got injured, halfway through. They asked to postpone the fight. I was like, oh God, here we go again. This is gonna get cancelled. So now I'm just delighted that it's here, and I cannot wait to let loose this Russian and Irish hammers.
I know this one's in Kiev, but are you hoping to get back to the States at some point, try and get back to the bigger shows and stuff? I know that travel's still kind of a nightmare, especially to the US, but is that still the end goal for hopefully this year, maybe early next?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this year even getting a U.S. work visa was very difficult. Peter Queally applied for his in October, and he was only able to get his one in April. So the queues was absolutely enormous because of all these COVID restrictions. So now that things seem to be going back to normal, I certainly am hoping to move across to the U.S. again, because at the end of the day, the biggest fights, the biggest paydays seem to happen over there. Vegas, New York, Miami, you name it. So I definitely will be looking to move back there and have some big fights.
Just going back to your fight this weekend, do you think? Well, first of all, congratulations on forcing Fury and Wilder to change their pay-per-view date. I know that they couldn't dare go up against you, so congrats on that. But are you
Smart man, smart man.
anticipating? I see the business. I know how it works. Do you see this guy? You know, this is his first time fighting in bare knuckle, right? Do you think it's the same every time? They think it's going to be basically the same as their own boxing, but when they get in there, it's much faster. You said that before. It's much more violent. Do you think that once the punches start flying, he'll be out of his depth a little bit?
Well, he definitely won't be ready for what's coming. I can tell you that. He definitely won't. He thinks now that he does know. I thought the same, beforehand. And I had MMA experience, which is in terms of glove size and all that, is closer to bare knuckle. I know he mentioned that he's had many street fights, but this is no street fight. This is completely different. It's its own sport. It's its own way to get ready for it. And it's its own experience when you're in there. So definitely that will be one of the factors that will help me get the win, is the shock factor, the surprise factor, the unexpected factor. The first time my fist connects, bare knuckle connects with his face, is going to be a shock. The first time his fist connects with this fucking hard ass head of mine that cannot be broken, that's going to be a shock for him. The first time I clinch him and grab him with all the power and might and the size advantage that I have, is going to be a shock for him. When I put him, on those sandbags and start punching the ears of him, that's going to be a big shock for him. So he is going to be shocked, and the world will be shocked once again by me again. They see me defeat Olympic silver medalist. I mean, what else can I do now? I have already two-time world boxing champion on my resume. I have loads of top 10 UFC fighters, MMA fighters on my resume, and now an Olympic silver medalist. It's going to look lovely on my wall.
I love it. A couple little last ones from me. Did you see Jason Knight fought in bare knuckle MMA recently against Felony Charles Bennett? And is that a fight you think makes sense? You guys to have the trilogy, but maybe an MMA this time with bare knuckle. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly do feel like me and Jason are gonna settle the fights. We need a third one. I would much rather prefer it to be for maybe a 145 belt in the BKFC. I feel that would be a bigger fight in that sense. And also in terms of MMA, he is all that weird fucking grappling, AJ Bravo stuff. It's fucking nightmare to deal with that stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. You never feel safe in guard. It's very draining on the body. I don't like, dealing with all that shit. I'll be honest with you. So ideally it would be in the bare knuckle ring. But look, if a good offer comes in to do it in the bare knuckle MMA ring, well then let's do it. You know what I mean? It's all about the right offers for me at this time.
I guess when you say it like that, you fought under the same rule set twice. Why change it at this point, right? So it does make sense to do it a third time in the bare knuckle boxing. Last thing for me, TJ Dillashaw is fighting this weekend, and the only reason I bring this up is because I remember you did a podcast when he first got popped, and you were very eloquently putting it into how bullshit it was that he was able to come back and compete after testing positive for EPO. I was curious. Now he's served his suspension. Do you think there's any sort of okay, he's done his time and now he should be allowed to compete? Or do you still believe that he's tainted with that brush and he'll never really be able to get over that?
Absolutely. I actually recently heard Mike Tyson talk about PEDs in sport. It's assault. You should be getting criminal charges for that. And on top of that, I would like to add, the money should have been taken from him. I mean, let's be honest. If they caught him right before the fight wouldn't have happened, right? And he wouldn't have gotten paid. So if you caught him after, well, then why should he just still keep the money? He done that illegally. If you win in a casino by cheating, do you keep the winnings? No, they get taken off you. So it should be the same story here. And then that would be a punishment. Right now, he didn't serve no punishment. He got the fight. They caught him. He got paid. Then he had some surgeries that he needed to do. He took care of that. So he would have been out anyway, took a little breather, and now he's back. So where is the fucking punishment? Come on now. This is such a serious offense. You know what I mean? To me, it's not even about USADA or anything. I don't need nobody to test me. When I fight, when I sign that contract, this is my promise to the fighter and his family that yes, I will fight and I will look to do damage, but I will do it fair and square, because you know what I mean, this is what real men do. That's what real warriors do. That's what real fighters do. That's why we have weight classes, because we're trying to level the playing field. But some scumbags, they aren't man enough to compete fair. They need some advantage. They want to bring a knife in their pocket and stab you in the back when you're not looking. Those are the kind of people, you know what I mean, that he is. That's the sort of person that he is. And to me, he will forever forever be tainted. To me, all his achievements mean nothing. If you take a guy with one fight but clean fighter, to me he's achieved more than a Georgie fighter like TJ that won belts and all this. All this is nothing. Would he be the same fighter without the PEDs? Hell no. Look at his style. He's relying on that. You've seen what happened to him without the PEDs at the end of the Ultimate Fighter. He got sparked fucking out, and then he went on the PEDs, and everybody started talking about his fighting style, how he's so unpredictable, he keeps the crazy pace. Yeah, take the EPO off him and let's see fucking the pace that he keeps and the movement that he keeps. You know, this is so unfair. And on top of that, the advantage that he has built while being on PEDs and training, that stays with him now. Yeah, it's not the same as being right on it, but it still stays with you. You know, he was able to train more, he was able to push harder, you know, and all that affects his muscles, all that affects his development, and he's still getting the fruits of that cheating. You know what I mean? So he shouldn't be allowed in the sport at all.
I mean, I love the passion, and I think it's a weird one, right? EPO is such a powerful drug that I think it's like people get away with like various steroids, but when it's EPO, it's a real tough one to take.
This one is a no-brainer. We knew we caught him. What's this fucking 2 years? He should have at least gotten 4 years. And to me, like taking the money, that should be a no-brainer. Like I said, the casino analogy is perfect here. You get caught fucking cheating blackjack or cheating any other game in casino, the money gets taken off you. Well, he got caught cheating. Take the money off him. Why does he get to keep the money? And give it and give. And to me, when you take the money, you should give it some to his opponent, because for additional risk. Was it additional risk fighting somebody on PEDs? Yes, it was. You should be rewarded for additional risk. And the other part of the money should go to USADA to make sure that, you know, everybody gets tested even more. Like they used to not even test for fucking EPO. I couldn't believe that when I heard that. What, you're not testing people for EPO? The one thing that's like one of the most important, probably, you know, steroids in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Artem, man, it's good to talk to you. I'm looking forward to Saturday night. I think people tuning in will see the vision of it, and I think it's one that's going to stick in the memory, man. Like you said, when you scroll through Instagram, it takes a lot to stand out these days, and the sandbags, the underground feel, I love it, man. It's great.
And honestly, the card is unbelievable. I know the guys aren't very well known, but every single fighter comes to fight. You know, it's the main card, the one that is on pay-per-view, you know, is going to be high quality fights. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee you that.